You know what, Sam?
What?
Our Russians were better than theirs.
Yes, they were. Oh, Sam, very, very happy. I'm very surprised we were able to close off the Capitals in
Yep.
5 games. Weren't you?
Yeah, the crazy thing is that could have been a 4 game sweep. I
I
mean, it could have been four, it could have been six, it could have easily gone to seven if we didn't win game one. It's just one of those series where there were so many possible outcomes, and the more favorable one ended up happening for us.
Yes, definitely. Well, the Hurricanes will be going on to the Eastern Conference Finals, which means more home games, Sam. So more opportunity for them to use a promo code, right?
Yes, you can use promo code Caniac Report on SeatGeek, and you can get $20 off your first purchase. Again, your first purchase, $20 off. You can go watch the Carolina Hurricanes take on the winner of the Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs series. As of now, that series is Florida 3 games to 2, and they're getting ready to drop the puck, I believe, in an hour from now. We're recording at 7, so an hour from now, I believe. And you know what? If you want to go watch the Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, or if you're out west, you're just itching for some hockey, you can go watch Dallas and Winnipeg. You can use our promo code for anything you want to use it for on SeatGeek.
Yep.
Caniac Report, comedy, music shows, or I guess concerts is what you young folks call them. All these wonderful
You're
things that
young
you can use.
too. Don't get me wrong.
You can use promo code Caniac Report on SeatGeek first purchase. Get yourself $20 off. Don't leave free money on the table. Uh, but we prefer you guys to help put butts in seats, and hopefully we can advance to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes, definitely. And another thing too is we have a link for donation. So if you feel like you want to donate, there is a link for that in both our YouTube descriptions and wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple or Spotify. And remember, if you are watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and please leave a comment down below.
Yep.
It really does help us out.
Yep. You can tell us how
And
much you love me and not Sam Wallace.
no. Say how much you love me and not Sam Driscoll.
But just remember, covering up Sam Wallace
Okay,
gives you a
all right,
much
we get it.
better experience.
Sam,
Yes.
why do you like covering up my face so much? Huh?
It's because I am the
Is
huge
that
king.
where our friendship is at right now at this point, Sam?
It's just they want to see Sam the huge Caniac, and that's what matters. And I'm just giving the people what they want, Sam.
I might need to change my title to the better Sam, but I'll leave it at Sam Wallace for now. Another thing too is because we did finish the series against the Capitals, expect us because we will be doing a playoff preview between us and whoever is the winner is between the two teams. Sam, it really depends on how long that Florida Toronto series goes.
Yeah.
So maybe Sunday night. I don't know. I feel like Sunday night might be a good time. Maybe.
Well, I mean, heck, if it ends tonight, I mean, we might end up playing a game on Sunday. So it's just it's a big
Well, no,
big get for them.
because Winnipeg and Dallas have to play Saturday. You know they kind of want them to start around the same time. So I expect the earliest probably a Monday, Tuesday. I doubt any team plays Sunday.
It's possible. Again, it's a they could again. It's the earliest I could see it happening would be Sunday, but I think the likeliest option is probably Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday is when they'll start the series. Again, if it's Toronto, we're going to play the first couple games in Toronto. If we play Florida, first 2 games will be in Carolina. Again, just as a reminder to everybody, because it matters. The Carolina Hurricanes would only have home ice advantage against one team left. That is Florida. I was wrong. I thought we had some home ice over the Western Conference teams left. That was an incorrect statement. I apologize. Everyone out west has home ice against us. Winnipeg has home ice against everybody. They're the President's Trophies winners.
Wonderful.
But so far, that's not going to help them out. So no, there will be no chance for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals in Raleigh. It sucks, yes, but you know what? Hopefully Carolina can win the Stanley Cup in 6 and do it at home.
Yes. Or maybe it doesn't have to go to 6. Maybe it can be a sweep. You never know.
Yeah, because the NHL is going to let us sweep someone.
Okay. I'm just trying to be optimistic here. You're trying to destroy it, Sam.
Look, I would love to sweep in the finals. Heck, I would just love to get a win in the Eastern Conference Finals. But
Well,
we'll
well,
talk about that.
well, you were talking about sweeping. So, the LA Kings, they swept up Ken Holland as their general manager.
Yes.
So, that's something that caught news.
Yep.
Not surprising because it seemed like Ken Holland and the Kings were going to be together at some point.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think this is a good hire for an LA Kings team because they're a veteran type of team. And we know Holland. He was a part of that huge, successful Detroit team that was in the playoffs for 25 straight seasons.
Yeah. Look, Ken Holland's a solid choice to be general manager. So good for him getting another role there. That's a good position to be in. You're with a really good team already that just needs to, fill in the gaps. And their old general manager did a really good job building a core with a team that didn't need a long rebuild, which was really good for them. Who's won cups in the last 10 plus years. So, I mean, they haven't been bad. They're in a great market. So LA will be in a good spot going forward, I think, anyway.
Oh, I do too. I mean, they have some aging players in Kopitar and Dowdy, but they have good players in Fiala and who's that young center? Byfield, Quentin Byfield. So,
Yes.
and they have a really good defense. They have one of the best defenses in the NHL. Sam, also a couple of coaches got hired. Adam Foote, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and Rick Tocchet is the head coach for the Flyers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We'll talk about Tocchet first because there's a little bit more controversy around the other one. Rick Tocchet, good coach, just
Yep.
didn't want to stay in Vancouver anymore. I
And
just, I
teams
guess,
were asking for him. Like,
yeah. So if
apparently
he had
there's a
choices,
huge demand.
so he had options. The dude did not have to stay in Vancouver. That was not something he needed to do. He's going to Philly with a lot of promise, a good roster there. We'll see if he can get them over the hump back into the playoffs. I think it's possible. Atlantic, the Metro Division was not that good this year, which is why there was only 3 teams that made the playoffs in the Atlantic Division or in the Metro Division this year. And you had 5 from the Atlantic. So we'll see if Philly can be one of those teams that sneaks in next year. Depends. I think you're gonna have to have a team like Washington falter some, and it's possible that happens. I mean, you never know if they
Yeah.
have another year like this. You can't discount Pittsburgh as well. So, but the hire for Tocchet brings in a coach that's very good, a winning coach, successful coach. That'll be well. He'll do well in Philadelphia.
Yeah. My only thing with Philadelphia, I mean, I've never thought it was. I've always thought they're a team that hires good coaches. It's just the roster isn't as good as the coach. You know,
Yeah, I mean Philly's moving in the right direction though. Like they're not in
they
a
are.
bad position. They're in a position where they'll have some cap space, some prospects, and they're a team that's going to continue to get better.
Oh, I do too. Heck, we could see the Metro Division get a little bit more competitive
Yeah,
next season.
yeah,
So we'll
definitely.
see how Rick Tocchet does with Philly. I mean, he's going to have great players in Mitch Koff and Travis Sanheim on the back end. They need a goalie though. That's the big thing with Philly.
Yeah, they kind of got put in an unfortunate situation with their former starting goaltender, who has allegedly made some mistakes in his life, and it
Yep.
cost the Flyers organization their uh, franchise goaltender and Carter
Yes.
Hart, who was an excellent goaltender. So again, I mean, the trial hasn't happened yet, and I'm talking about that because that goes into the next coach. But the trial hasn't happened yet, and that matters. And you're innocent until proven guilty. I know very little about the case, but in general, that is the law. That is legality of every court case. It is innocent until proven guilty. The court systems will do as they are supposed to do in that instance. I believe there was some news about that the jury was again dismissed. That will be a judge only trial now. They have been unable to get a jury to work there. So mistakes continue to happen. So those young men, their fate and justice are in the hands of the judge overseeing that trial. That was some news, I believe, that I saw yesterday, and I'll confirm it because it was posted by one of the big guys. I think it may have been Pierre LeBron
Oh,
that
LeBron. Okay.
that had posted something about it, and I'll pull it up real quick as well, just to talk about that because it matters. Because Sam, who was the other coach hired again?
Adam Foote. And Adam Foote, I mean, he has played in the NHL. And to
Yes.
me, what's nice about this hiring is that he's not a recycled coach. He's a brand new head coach
Yep.
in the league. I like seeing that. I might be a little bit of an advocate of seeing more of that because I just think the recycling of coaches, I do think there is an argument to be made that it happens too much in the
Yes.
NHL. But Adam Foote, we'll see how he does at Vancouver. I think as a first time head coach, I mean, Vancouver, it's not going to be easy for him. But I feel like Vancouver, that might be what they need is a new coach with a brand new style. You never know. I mean, Washington struck gold with Spencer Carberry.
Yeah, they did. That was an excellent hire for them, and I was correct. The judge dismisses jury again, and jury and Hockey Canada sexual assault trial. So the judge will make the decision on the guilt or innocence of the young of this trial. Uh, and I've mentioned that because Adam Foote's son, I believe it was Cal Foote, is
Yes,
on
it is
trial.
Cal Foote.
So people were attacking Adam Foote for getting the job. Let's be so abundantly clear. Adam Foote is not responsible for the actions of his son. Cal Foote was an adult when he made these choices, if again, they're true. All these young men pled not guilty, innocent until proven guilty. And why in the world are we going to punish Adam Foote for these mistakes? That's idiotic and moronic and all other kind of words to say. Adam Foote was a heck of a hockey player, and as far as I know, there's nothing
Oh, he
bad about
was.
him, and there's nothing wrong with him. And I'm sure Vancouver did their due diligence and knows one, he has absolutely nothing to do with this instance. So people need to grow up and stop trying to cancel everybody. Like, good God. Like, come on. I mean, again, you can't destroy one person's life because someone else that they're related to did something stupid, or again allegedly did something stupid. And I'm not saying that the people are lying about these players. I'm saying facts matter, and I don't know them, and I will, as well, everybody should abide by the result of the outcome of the trial. But again, Adam Foote not on trial, so he earned and deserves an opportunity to be a heck of a hockey coach. He was a heck of a player, and we'll see what he does as a coach of the Canucks. I think it's a good hire. I think people who are complaining about it are just a bunch of pansies and they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, come
I,
on, just grow up a little bit. Just stop trying to find. These are people who try to find things and complain about them because they want attention on social media. Like, stop. You're a child. No one cares about your opinion, and you're stupid, and all you're trying to do is get attention I mean, you're trying to get attention for attacking someone because you're trying to have some sort of moral high ground. No, you don't have a moral high ground. You're attacking an innocent man. Like, that's just, to me, bizarre.
Trust me, I completely agree. Adam Foote has nothing related to the case that's currently going on. So he should, I think, rightfully be hired.
Yeah.
So
If he is the
that's
right and if he's qualified and right for the job, and Vancouver wants to hire him, what his son did should have no bearing on whether or not he should be the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks.
yes, exactly. Well, Sam, let's get to talking about the Hurricanes here. And one
Yes.
thing I do want to discuss because this did pop up on X a lot is a lot of people and some notorious people have
Notorious
said
people.
that the Hurricanes are boring to watch. And you know what? I don't care. As
No,
long
and
as they win, I don't care how they do it. That's the most
so
important thing.
this is all I'm gonna tell people is I think I've even made the comment before that like I prefer other systems over ours because of the I like the offense more than the defensive styles. And hockey's all about preference, right? I mean, there are
It
people
is
out there, probably me, who prefer the style that Toronto plays with, right? That running gun and
Colorado,
Colorado. So I'll go with Colorado. They're more successful, uh,
Edmonton, probably.
successful example of the run and gun, high skill mentality, right? Outscore the problems. That is an exciting brand of hockey to watch. I get the argument. Like I'm trying to say, don't get butthurt about people calling us boring. One, we're winning.
Yes, exactly. That's the
These other
big thing.
teams,
We
these
are.
other
We are winning.
these other teams are losing. I agree with what Elliot said. I don't care, and I don't care if we're boring and our style of play is boring. I think some of our games are pretty exciting. Yes, sometimes I'm watching some games, and Adam Gold has talked about it too. Sometimes they're snooze fest. You know, we didn't, like he says on his podcast, sometimes we didn't grow the game tonight, and it's true. There are some games that we will play where the game won't be grown. A lot of times, it's not because of
No.
how we
Mm-mm.
play, and a lot of times it's not because of how we play. It's because of how
The other team
the other
plays.
team plays. Yeah. And it's a combination of the two, and then the game gets locked down. Washington, if you remember last year in overtime, Sam, remember we played 3-on-3 overtime. They had the puck, just passed it around, right?
Yeah, that was
That's
really
boring.
boring. I hated
That's
that.
yeah, that's boring, and that's the style of hockey Washington wants to play, a trap. And if you mix neutral zone trap with our system, you're going to get bogged down in low scoring affairs. You're not going to be like the 5-4, 6-4, 6-5 games that Edmonton's going to get involved in, right? Like
Yeah,
that's just not how that's going to go. Sometimes yes, Carolina can find the back of the net like a lot,
they can.
but again, I could care less if we're boring or not, and I'm not going to argue with someone who says we're boring because I
Well,
think there's an argument.
we care more about the results
Yeah, so do what Elliot
than the
Friedman
process.
says, put your fingers in your ears and just ignore it because who cares what they
Yes.
think? I don't care if someone in New York does not enjoy Hurricanes hockey because guess what? There are no New York teams in the playoffs. There's just not.
Yeah.
Right? You have two teams in the Eastern Conference right now from the South, Florida and Carolina. You got one big team left in the Eastern Conference, Toronto. You go out west, you got Dallas. They're a small market. And then you've got Winnipeg. They're, believe it or not, they are a small market. They are not a big
Yes,
market
they
team.
are.
And then you've got Edmonton, which I would say is a large market. So you've got two large markets left. That's it. It's 50-50. These are smaller market teams that are still in the playoffs. And Winnipeg could still win. And you could, I mean, Winnipeg, Dallas, both small market teams. So there's a good chance that two small market teams again go to the Stanley Cup Finals, and I promise you right now, Dallas doesn't care what people think how they play. Winnipeg doesn't care what people think. There are no teams in the NHL who cares what any pundit says about the style they play. And I'll tell all the Caniacs out there, who cares what PK Subban says about our team? Who cares what these pundits and analysts say about our team? This team has defied all expectations. Everyone, including us, including our friends at Caniac Session, said this was a down year. It was always going to be a down year. That was the belief because it was a
It
dip.
was.
If you looked at the talent, it just wasn't there. But this team has grasped that doubt and saying, hold my beer, watch what we're going to do. And like in 2019, a team that did amazing things the last half of this year, got to the playoffs and the Eastern Conference Finals. This team that has a roster that is far less, that is far more inferior to last year's roster, is in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think this team can go far. People talk about bracket luck, Sam, and I think there is an argument to be made
Yes, I
that we
do
had
too.
some. If you look at our path, if you look at all the teams' paths to this moment, Carolina's was the easier path. I said from the beginning that the Caps were frauds. I feel a little justified in that. We beat them out in
Yes,
five.
yeah, we did.
I've been calling them frauds for a long time. I believed that they were frauds, and I think I've been proven pretty accurate there. So I said I think we could be Washington or Montreal. So I didn't care who we played there. I thought we could win. It would be harder against the Caps than it would have been against the Canadians, I thought. But we still took care of Washington in five. Took care of New Jersey in five. They were damaged and beat up. Maybe that's different if
They
Jack Hughes
were.
is there. I still think we win that series. It's just maybe it's not five, maybe it's 6 or 7. And now we're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now let's take a look at Florida. They had to play Tampa. Oh boy. I don't care how many games they wanted, and Tampa's a good hockey team. Now they're playing
True.
Toronto. Well, they're the best team in the Atlantic Division. So that's
But
not easy.
they're known to choke in the playoffs. That's the
Oh, they
thing with
are.
Toronto.
But this year seemed different for Toronto, right? I mean, it has. They won the first 2 games of their series. They're not an easy out by any
No, they're
imagination.
not.
Even in the first round when they choked, they still push you to 7. So like they have some good players. So that was a tough stretch, right? Florida to Florida and Tampa, Florida Toronto. So whichever team comes out of that, they've had a tougher stretch to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, if you go over and take a look at the West, I mean, heck, Dallas had to play Colorado, and any stretch of the imagination, that should be a Western Conference Final matchup, not a first round matchup. And it's just like, oh my goodness, that went 7. Dallas wins, and
Well,
now they play
I think part of that
um,
too is
Winnipeg.
there are people that are critical of the standings structure.
Oh no,
That's
absolutely.
part of the
But
reason.
now you look at Dallas; they're playing Winnipeg, the President's Trophy winner.
Yep, they are.
That's ridiculous. Like that path is Dallas's path to the Western Conference Finals, assuming they get there. They have not yet. Assuming they get there is ridiculously hard.
Yes.
Colorado, then Winnipeg, and then you got to play Edmonton. By the way, if you want to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, so if you're talking about a hard path to the finals, it's whoever comes out of the West is insane.
Yes, so I think there's an argument to be made for that Eastern Conference team could win the Stanley Cup just because of the easier route it took. So, but it's going to be interesting. And Sam, let's go ahead get to a sponsor, and then we'll recap the game. And I do want to talk about a player that did play his first game, so we'll get to that. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high skates drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Okay, Sam. So the stuff heading into the game. This was interesting, and one thing I think we can all learn about Brendan Moore in this entire playoff series, he loves playing gamesmanship because he did say a couple of days ago that he expected Sheffield to play
Yep.
this game.
Yep.
Nope.
What did I say?
Nikishin is going to play, and yeah, you did expect Nikishin to play this game. And one thing I want to say about Nikishin's performance, I started out a little bit rough, but I thought he got a lot better.
Yeah,
a lot better as the game went through. And you know what? I
absolutely.
had no expectations for this guy. I mean, his first NHL game is a elimination game for the Capitals in game 5 in the playoffs. That's a lot of pressure for a kid. So I had no expectations, and I think he surpassed them, in my opinion, for
Yeah,
what
I
he's
mean,
done.
yeah, I think so too. Um, I said that, Rod said that was going to happen. I was like, no. I said Rod's not going to tell you now if Chatfield's not going to play.
No, he's not.
No, he's going to have them prepare for Chatfield and throw Nikishin out there at the last minute, which is exactly what he did.
Yep. I love it.
And I just felt like that was expected.
Sooner or later, we were going to see Nikishkin, especially
Yep.
with Chatfield being banged up. I hope he comes back. I think he does come back
Right. And he
probably
gets some
for the
time off,
Eastern
which is
Conference
great.
Finals. Yes, he definitely does. He honestly, I think, deserves it. He's been very good. I mean, I think you can argue most of our defensemen have been playing very good, but I mean, Akishin, I thought he did pretty good. I thought first period was shaky, but again, I'm not expecting too much from this guy. But I mean, I remember he stuck with Ovechkin and made a got the puck away from Ovechkin,
Yep.
made a couple of big hits
Yep.
in that game. So I understand, like, I see the hype there. He's going to be a very good player for us.
He is going to be unbelievable. I think he needs again. Uh, I thought he was fine. I think people are a little too critical of him in this game. I think Adam Gold is one of them. I love Adam, friend of the podcast. I don't agree with his assessment of Nikishin. I thought he was excellent. Other than I think he had one turnover. Like, come on, give it a break. He's a rookie. It's expected. The goal didn't count. You can't hold it against him. And he learned from it. And
It's
I
his
thought,
first game. Like, you have to have expectations for players. You can't expect every player to go out playing like an
like Slavin.
Svechnikov Slavin type of performance. You just can't.
No, and given what he played, right? You're looking at a guy who played in his first game of the National Hockey League, a closeout game in the second round of the playoffs. That's insane. So good for him. I thought he had an excellent game. I look forward to seeing more. Hopefully, Chatfield's better, but I think it's good to know that yeah, this guy can play if you need him to.
Yes, he definitely can. He's shown it, and he had a good slap shot too. I think it was like what 92 miles per hour or something.
He has got a heck of a shot. That was proven last night. He had a couple of good opportunities to put the puck in the net. Honestly, uh, just putting him on the power play is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's going to be in the future. It's not going to be now, but it's going to be in the future, and he has a long
Yeah.
future. Well, Sam, uh, heading into Game 5, I came in with, you know what? I want us to close this out, but if we don't, we can close it out at home. And
Yep.
thankfully, we did close it out last night. And Sam, in the first period, we got to see Jordan Stahl, the captain, scoring from Jordan Martinook from the right side circle. Boy, very nice shot. And to be honest, that's a goal probably Thompson should have had.
Yeah. Yep. Probably should have had that one. Thompson was not very good tonight.
He's not the reason why they lost the series, though. That's what I would
No,
argue.
no, he's probably the reason they lost this game or very close to it.
Yes.
And he knows that, and he said as much. So I'm going to take him at his word there, because that's what I saw, and I think everybody did. Um, yeah, that first goal was again. I still think it was a heck of a shot from Jordan Stahl. Like great snipe. Thompson played it poorly, but it was a beautiful shot by Stahl. And I'm going to give Jordan Stahl a lot of credit too for taking advantage of that poor play by Thompson and tucked it in just under the crossbar, top shelf.
Yeah, and again, Stahl's a player where we don't expect offense. We expect a good shutdown defenseman, though. So when he does score like that, it's a cherry on top. So I
Yeah,
love seeing that.
Jordan Stahl's role is that shutdown center, that forward guy that's going to take care of the other team's lines. But when he scores, you take it. Same with Martinook and Carrier. When they provide offense, it's a cherry on top, right? It's depth scoring.
Yep.
And you got depth scoring in a closeout game, and that's what you wanted.
And I would argue that Stahl line I thought was the best line in that game. It's
Yeah.
very interesting because, I mean, even though we won that game, Sam, I mean, there were definitely moments, especially I would say in the third period, where I was like, I don't know if we're going to win this game, just because I thought Washington played just a little bit more desperate than the Canes did, and they needed to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They had to play more desperate because if they did not, they knew that they were going home. And Freddie Anderson is just I mean, uh,
Oh, he's a stone wall right
he's
now.
lost 2 games in 2 rounds. That is insane.
It is.
I mean, that is just outstanding hockey.
Yes.
Outstanding hockey. I mean, you can't. I'm just. I mean, it's you're not. You don't win this series in 5 games without Freddie Anderson.
No,
You
you
just
really
you
don't.
just
He's played a
don't.
huge role. But he does let in the goal. It is Anthony Bavillier.
Yeah.
Now, I would say some people will say that was on Slavin. Well, I agree that that was probably on Slavin a little bit. It was also some bad luck there too, just because Slavin he was able to get the puck, but I mean, obviously, you know what his intent was. His intent was to get
Yeah.
the puck out and sweep it behind the goalie.
Yeah.
Well, it hits the boards awkwardly, goes right near Anderson, and Bavillier is able to score.
Yep.
And I'm just like, well, there's a little bit of bad luck. It's not all on Slavin there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've seen me criticize Slavin. I have criticized Slavin.
It was an odd bouncing goal. It was a very odd goal. Like a very odd goal. But that's just how good Freddie's been where it takes an odd bouncing goal to for them to score.
Yes. So in the sense that could be encouraging as well with how Anderson has played. Odd bounce.
Yep.
But it's 1-1 heading into the second period. And Sam, I honestly think this was kind of the moment the Capitals kind of uh started to not play as well
Yeah.
because they made it 2-1 at one point, but it was challenged for offsides. And all of us, when we saw that camera, yeah, it was definitely an offsides. Like it wasn't close.
And I even told you
Yeah, you did
as
tell me.
before the goal happened, I was like, I think that's close. I was like, hey, I think that might be offsides. I thought it was close. I saw the play happen. I was like, that's close. We'll see what happens. They score, and then I'm like, hey, I think they're going to challenge. And you're like, there's nothing to challenge. And I'm like, I think it was offsides.
You
And
were right.
Chris Huffine, heck of a video coach, caught it, saw it, challenged it, and goal comes off the boards. Offsides is offsides is offsides. I don't care if you're in the zone for 5 seconds or 105 seconds.
Yeah,
It's offsides.
it is. I completely agree. It was offsides. But Sam, after that, I think you could tell Washington was so deflated
Yep.
after that. Like they just were. I just didn't think they got back to that type of play they had early in that second period.
Nope.
After that, so second period, I mean, not a lot of stuff happened. I believe it was at the end of the first period where Stankoven almost he missed a wide open net, but Thompson was able to kind of use his stick to get it out. I would have loved to see Stankoven score there, but he didn't. But Sam, in the third period, I mean, again, like I thought I had a bad feeling about this game just because even though I thought Washington themselves, their confidence went down after that overturned goal, I still thought Washington was a bit of a better team this game. I just did. I saw more of a Carolina game 2 version than a Carolina game 3 and game 4 type of version in this game. That's why I was a bit nervous. But Sam, you have Andrei Svechnikov, our Russian, scoring the game-winning goal from Walker and Jarvis. And boy, that was kind of a nice play because yeah, Svechnikov passing to Walker. Walker, right when he gets it, passes it right back to Svetch, and he scores far right again. And I mean, Thompson just let that through. I was
Yeah.
like, "What? That went in?"
Yeah. 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 That was a oh my goodness kind of thing. Where and Thompson knew it too. That
He,
was just one of those you can't allow.
yeah. And I mean, I do think another big part is Anderson was significantly better than
Yeah.
Thompson.
Yeah.
This sometimes that's all you need to win.
Yeah. And they closed it out with Jarvis, if I'm remembering correctly,
Yep.
getting the empty
Hmm.
netter, shutting it down. Hurricanes win 3-1, eliminate the Caps in 5, advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, third time in 7 years, and they will have a challenge on their hands.
Yeah.
No matter who they play next, because the rosters of the teams that we're playing next, whether it's Austin Matthews and company or Barkov and company, if it's Florida, they have a goalie, by the way,
They do.
a really good goalie. It'll be the best goalie that we have played in the NHL this playoffs, right? If it's Joseph Wall and Stolars, I would argue they're better goaltenders than what we have seen so far. Maybe not as good as Logan Thompson was in the regular season, but in the playoffs, Stolars and Wall have been very good. But you're still going up against Sergei Bobrovsky. In my mind, that's the most likely team you play,
Yep.
and that is going to be a interesting game. If you play Florida, uh, that'll be the challenge. By the way, that is the challenge. The teams you played are not as good as either of those two teams that you're potentially going to play in the Eastern Conference Finals, as it should be. It's the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes, and anything can happen. I would say
Yes.
in when it gets to, especially the second round, but really, really, when it gets to the Eastern Conference Finals, you just never know. I mean, we've seen the history of this team with the Eastern Conference Finals, Sam. It's not good. They keep
Yes.
getting swept. And while I'm not expecting this Canes team to overcome it, I expect them to come out a little bit angry. And also, considering Florida did eliminate the Canes, I expect there to be some revenge factor. We have quite a few players still from that team that we faced Florida a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I want there to be some revenge factor. I just want to win one game. That's all I want, Sam. Is that too much to ask? At least one. 'Cause I really don't want to get swept again. I
No,
just do not.
because we've been swept our last
Three.
3 trips. So yeah, I
Yes,
would like to
three
win a
trips.
game.
Yeah, we'll see. But Sam, since we won the series, instead of 3 stars of the game, let's do 3 stars of the entire series. So, you want me to go first or you? I think you went first the last time we did 3 stars.
Yep, you can go ahead and go first.
All right, I am going to. No, I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Taylor Hall. I thought he played very good, but I thought there were just 3 players that played a little bit better. To me, number 3, Sean Walker. I think he played a very excellent dynamite series against the Capitals. I'm not saying Slavin was awful, but I saw a lot of great things from Walker. A lot. And I thought he was really good. He was definitely the reason why we won game 4. So good for Sean Walker getting his first career goal in the
Yep.
playoffs there. And I thought he was very, very elite. Second star to me, the Russian, Andrei Svechnikov. He continues to play wonderful in this series. And one of the things that I'll probably say in a future episode in this offseason is can he be more consistent? And even though I'd love to see playoff Svechnikov, I like to see that translate in the regular season. But if he does, I mean, he's just going to get better, in my opinion. Like this guy, goal scoring is elite, and I think some could argue that that goal he made in Game 5 was more of Thompson letting in that goal than his pure skill. But but I would say you had to make some skill if you're shooting a puck from that wide of a range there. So
Yeah.
great for Svech. And then number 1, the reason why I think we won the series ultimately, our goalie, Frederick Anderson. Gosh, he is amazing. I looked at the stats recently of all the teams in the playoffs. Anderson had like last I looked, a 936 goals. No, oh, sorry, 1.36 goals against average.
Yep.
And right below him was at like 1.8.
Yep.
So there's a huge increase there at number 2.
Yeah. Um. For mine, I agree with you that those are my three too. I mean, it's Walker, Svetch, and then Anderson. And I think Anderson was my first star in the last series. If not, it was probably Svetch. And right now, Anderson is my favorite for the Conn Smythe. If this team goes to the Stanley Cup Finals, if this team wins, it's going to be on the back of Frederick Anderson.
And I would argue he wins the Conn Smythe.
100%. With numbers like that, you better win the Conn Smythe.
Yes. Yeah, you better.
I mean, goodness gracious, you win the Conn Smythe. And what's even better for this team is what's different than years past, where Freddie got burnt out. Those series lasted a little longer. Carolina's finishing these out in 4 or 5 games, right? First round, 5 games. This round, 5 games. They're getting like weeks off and like a week off between rounds almost.
Yep.
That is a huge, huge benefit for a guy like Freddie Anderson who can get worn out.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. Great win. Again, our next episode is going to be a series preview between Carolina and whoever. We just don't know who it is yet. But once we do, we have live, so it might take time. But once we find out, we will try and get an episode out as soon as possible on that series. And
Sam,
oh,
final
man.
score: Carolina Hurricanes 3, Washington Capitals 1. Final score of the series: Carolina Hurricanes 4-1. We're on our way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
We will see you guys next time.